last time. This time was going to be done by David.
Well, last time on Shadows of Gradiriel, our heroes battled a great glass golem of some sort that emerged from the temple we had just escaped, or from the rubble of it, rather. We were successful in sending it away, much thanks to the efforts of Silver, but were showered in its glass and powder and whatnot, which caused us to share each other's dreams and glimpse each other's pasts, which, while interesting, was disruptive to our sleep patterns, so a good bath was in order.
And
To
also
get all of that off of us.
and also very upsetting to members.
To some members, indeed, yes. Thankfully, a good bath seems to have sorted us out, and we are once again ready to get on the road and do what it is we do best. Track down items and kill things that get in the way.
Something like that, yes. You're still continuing your trek north to retrieve the Lunar Heart Flower, which was supposed to be a flower to help with a potion for the Green Order. And due to the exhaustion that was caused by the glass shards, you guys basically went to bed super early. By super early, I mean the morning after you wake up. So it is now everyone waking up. No exhaustion worries, except for one small little detail that I forgot. Someone in the party currently actually does still have a point of exhaustion. Because she was an idiot. Being exposed to intense cold will get one a point of exhaustion. So when everybody went to sleep, Yong actually had 2.
Oh.
Remember when she took a cannonball dip in the water and was like, "Oh yeah, it's cold." Ah. Yeah, that.
Damn it, Young! You fucking moron!
Sometimes she is. It's fine.
Isn't it Oak who has the ability to remove stupidity from people from the night before?
That's not how greater lesser restoration works.
I mean, it works for alcohol. Anyway,
It works for alcohol because alcohol is a
Sandy.
poison, not because alcohol is doing anything to exhaustion. But anyway, so Yong still has a point of exhaustion. You guys are going to get ready to continue your trek up north. There was a great bit of RPing elements with concerns to the dreams and things. And it is now, I will say, probably 3-ish in the afternoon, and you are continuing your trek up north, following the path that was given to you via the map that the Green Order gave you, to find the, apparently, based on her knowledge, the one location at the edge of the mountainside that is the place in which the Lunar Heart Flower will bloom. So, as with most of your journey up to the north, it was Bjorn, who knows this area, who was making the survival checks to make sure people kept track of where they were going. So, Bjorn, if you would make us a survival check to make sure that you don't get too terribly lost. Although the river's like right there, so it's not going to be hard to...
Yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be the most challenging thing.
This
survival.
This survival check is as much a role for you to not get lost as it is a role for you to realize the sort of best way to navigate the river.
Gotcha. Not trying to succeed, just trying not to fuck up.
Pretty much.
Well, it was a long night.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, let's go this way. He points south.
Can I have Locke give him advantage by assisting? Locke does have some modest experience with survival, so I guess one of the skills he's proficient in. So can I assist?
You don't really know this area, though.
No, but like I know some general principles that can help.
Yeah, sure.
No falls on the north side of the tree.
Alright, so we're doing an advantage then?
Well, just roll it again.
Yeah.
Fuck!
Bjorn didn't have any coffee or anything this morning. He's just wading into the river and...
Oh
that's
no!
that.
You're still...
Feed this man a donut.
Now, I wasn't making this hard. The river is right there. And it's not hard to figure out, even though it is at least a day away of travel, where the mountains are. So going north is rather easy because there's mountains over there. So
Fair.
with that in mind, I will go ahead and take you to my crazy, stupid-looking map that is the river. Hooray! Boop.
It's very blue.
It is very blue.
It is water.
So
It's tall.
yes, it is very tall. Because this river is a grand total of 300 feet across.
What?
Long map.
It's no shallow thing, huh?
Um,
Alright.
because that is decent size for a river, apparently.
How's the current look?
Well, there's a reason that there's a bit of a gradient, although it's not really a gradient, it's just literally changing colors. But,
That's what a gradient is.
well, I mean, gradients usually sort of fade into the other color, not just stark change. But, the reason there is subtle changes in the water's colors is because the water's current is faster in the middle, which is where it's the bluest, in the middle. And when you guys waded into the river before, you sort of stuck to the edges in and around like this area here, where you still had enough water to make use of and do things with, but you weren't going into it where it's super deep. It starts to get really deep, like around right here.
Where? Oh, I can see the color. Never mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to cross this?
Well, with the survival check of 7, Bjorn, you don't really recall. Although I'll give you a history check if you want to see if you can remember
I was like,
if you remember any easy ways to get across this river.
let's give it a go. History, you said, right?
Yep.
Alright.
Now,
Oh my god.
His history check makes Kadruil very uneasy. Something about oxen trying to float on a raft across the river and getting dysentery.
You have died of dysentery.
so, well, Bjorn, you don't remember any place in which this river is easy to cross. Part of the reason why this particular quest was perilous is because you have to cross the river and there's not really a common bridge. So,
Well,
Here's a weird fucking thought.
Uh-huh.
I want to try something really quick. I want to take my tent of fortitude and I want to chuck it out about 15 feet or so out here so that it, floats up into the bigger interior space and see what happens when the external part lands upon the water.
seems risky.
Due to the nature of every object in it being made of pillows, only those objects would be in it whenever that and the random hot cocoa is why it would be capable of like if you left something inside it and then you was to fold it back up, just as you would get shunted if the tent was dropped down, the object would get shunted out of it. It's not a bag of holding.
Makes sense. And I don't suppose we have a bag of holding.
You do.
We do.
We do.
Oh, good.
My idea was to use the tent, the fortress, as a makeshift raft, have us all get in it, and then use like a rope with a grappling hook to just pull ourselves across the river, using it as our raft.
Rock to rock here,
throw
like
300 feet.
because there's rocks all through the river, though. We could like go from rock to rock.
Yeah,
However, water damage.
right.
Yeah.
The tent is still made of cloth, and whenever the tent is destroyed, you're shunted out.
Okay. Well, if we're crossing this river, I think those of us who wear armor should store that armor in the bag of holding for the time being, because otherwise,
Yeah.
metal,
Those of you,
water.
the paladins in heavy armor are going to sink like stones. So
I'm
Which
not. I'm
Bjorn
in
is not a
medium
fan of.
armor, and it's mithril, so it's light.
Bjorn's armor is not so kind.
So
yeah, you do technically have a bag of holding. Technically two. It's just one of them's more cold centric.
yes. Is it a rushing water?
The water is not rushing until you get to about the middle. This is the place that's going to be the hardest to deal with. You're still going to be swimming because it is still fairly deep in these areas here. But
Is there
the actual-
ice?
Huh?
Is there ice?
There is ice. In probably
How far?
In like some of the earlier parts of it, there is some ice. It's just if you go slow, you're not going to necessarily have to run risk of falling. That's sort of what you did when you wade in. You were wading in on ice. It was just ice underwater.
Wait,
so-
ice underwater?
Yes, ice here.
So it's not a sheer ice surface that we can like slowly walk out on.
No. It is not.
Is there ice chunks floating by?
There would be places in the ice. There would be places of shards of ice. It's just the place that is the most ice is actually on the edges of the river. It's on the banks. It's basically the idea is instead of having sandy banks like a river could have, this river's banks are partially ice. So yes, there would be ice shards in the river, but nothing big enough to stand on.
Question.
Are there any trees nearby? I'm honestly starting to think that it might just be a good idea to chop a few down, rope them together, and make a makeshift raft that way.
And after doing that, it would be better than freezing to death, because
Mm-hmm.
even if we take armor off so we don't sink, it's still fucking ice water.
Yeah.
Question.
Yes.
Is there a mechanic that if I did something that did cold damage to the water, that it would freeze?
Depends on what you were doing that was doing cold damage. If it would be the type of spell that could legitimately you have
I was going to sit there and do Burning Hands, which does a 15-foot cone out for me, but spend my what little sorcery points I have to convert it to cold damage instead of fire damage.
Does Burning Hands say in its description that it sets fire to objects?
The fire ignites any flammable objects in the area that
Then
aren't
yes.
being worn or carried.
If you use Burning Hands, which can set fire to objects, and then turned it into cold, I could reasonably see how that could suddenly turn water into ice.
Can make an ice raft, but I don't know if Oak or Cad can wait on it. And I can only do it once.
Now, I will say, let me double check here. Yeah. So, Cad, if you were in the water, as long as you didn't stay in it for very long, you could actually swim and not have problems. Because the only thing that cold damage from freezing water is going to do is cause you to potentially get points of exhaustion. But the only way to get that is to fail a DC 10 Constitution save. And if you're near silver, you have a plus 13 to your con save. You can't fail a 10 DC. Because his con is 9 at base. So his con save is 9 at base. So if silver was close enough he would have a plus 13, which then allows him to theoretically... She makes this an ice raft. He is then...
Oh, never mind. I can actually do it 3 times.
Oh,
She makes an ice raft, and then he's the only one that's in the water, and he's pushing the raft.
Until a certain point, and then it's too deep for him to push it.
Yeah.
You can do it 3 times. You could definitely make a raft big enough to house us all, I think.
Well, because it's 15-foot cone.
Yeah, so just space yourself out a little bit. Like, put it in one spot, and then move over a bit, expand it out, move over, expand it out more.
What is your Constitution save modifier, Silver? Yours is also pretty high.
My modifier is 12.
Oh yeah, see, you're just like Cad. You could get in the water, and as long as you didn't stay in it very long, you'd be perfectly fine. Because the con save to deal with extreme cold is a DC 10 that gradually goes up the more you're in cold water. But at base, it is, at a minute or less, it's a DC 10. So if you're exposed to cold water for anywhere from a couple seconds to a minute, you have to make the save. But beyond a minute, it starts to get harder and harder to deal with, but it goes slowly. And even then, all that it actually does is give you a point of exhaustion, which you're not going to have real problems until you get to like 3 points of exhaustion. So,
How big of an ice raft can you make? 7 blocks?
That's only with 1 burning hand spell. If I do it 3 times and spend all my sorcery points, I can basically make a 21 square raft. It's like we can all fit on it, it's just I don't know how thick it's going to be. Because that's also another thing. Is it just going to freeze the surface and only be like an inch thick, and then if that's the case, then it's useless?
it's when you...
It's hard being logical.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Well, if we minimize how many people stand on it, that minimizes the risk of it causing problems.
Yes, that's why I was a bit worried about Oak, Cad, and our heavy armor paladin friend.
Right. If we go with Bjorn's idea and stuff all of our heavy armor and heavier items into bags of holding, that should also help minimize the risk, because the weight doesn't translate to the outside of the bag, right?
Yes. Also,
Right.
Okay.
Also, when you cast Burning Hands, and you do it in front of you, you effectively can hit anything in that 5-foot cube that is in front of you, or in that cone in front of you. So in theory, if you were to sort of kneel and you're shooting the ice and your hands go in the water as you cast Burning Hands, then you would have a thick raft, because then everything that you're hitting with the blast is going to be water.
Right.
So that is what's going to denote your thickness. Is, in theory, you could have the thickest raft that you could have would be if you was to jump into the water and make it. But
And then
I
because
thought
of
the
ice, it
thickest
would mob up to
fast-
the surface.
I thought I figured it would be like, since the fire ignites flammable objects and stuff, if it was damage wise, because if I just do it at level 1, it's just a 3d6.
you could, I could.
But if I do it at higher, it adds a d6 for each level above 1.
I could see you rolling damage on it to see just how sturdy and durable the ice is. Sure, why not? That makes it a little more
Yeah,
interesting.
because that also adds, like, I can expend all 3 of my 3rd level spells to cast it, which gives it additional 2d6 on top of 3d6, so 5d6, and then changes them each to cold.
Does anybody still have a scroll of haste?
I do not, unfortunately. I've used.
I have a scroll of Witch Bolt and Enlarge.
And I have a scroll of Web and Spike Growth.
See, I was hoping that we would sit there and be able to cast a spell of haste onto Cad, and then I'll sit there and use the spell of enlarge on him to make him do more damage.
I'm just thinking, if you made a raft that's sort of where the green one is, so it's just offshore, Cad can get a running go, jump in, and...
Oh! The scroll of enlarge, I can make the platform and enlarge it.
Oh.
So it's almost like, I don't know, a floating iceberg?
I mean, you could. I'd let you do that.
Okay, yeah. Fuck it. Let's do that.
Okay, well then
Yeah.
if we do that, then I need pretty much everyone on board to make sure this ice doesn't float down the river while I'm casting all these spells, because they take actions.
Fair enough.
Oh, there's also something could be living in the water as well, and we don't know about it. So,
That's true.
like, what are elementals?
So if you want to go with this tactic, expend all the needed items and resources, Silver, to make this thing huge. And then it will be sturdy enough to carry all of you. And then the only stipulation is, can Cad move the freaking thing?
Yeah.
Because not only is he going to contend with the weight of the iceberg that is rather large, but also contend with the weight of all the people on the iceberg, too.
Well, hold on now. Even if Cad can't push it, we have a rope and grappling hook, right?
That's the thing,
Probably, yeah.
we don't
So we
have
could-
a grappling hook.
We don't?
You don't
No.
have- you
Well,
don't
let me
have a
check my
grappling hook.
inventory.
We have a crossbow that is haunted.
Okay.
Only if you attune to
No.
it.
Sentient, yes.
Yeah, it's a possessed crossbow.
That's the thing, it's a huge river, and apparently there's no, in this freezing tundra, it is not completely frozen over.
Oh no!
And
there's-
honestly, spending copious amounts of time solving mundane problems is the true spirit of D&D.
Amen.
I mean, it is.
I mean, we could still just try and make a raft. I'm just saying.
Keep in mind, Kadruil's still all in on the cannonball and swim like mad heck.
If we want to go this tactic, the only stipulation to Cad pushing it is going to be pushing it at flat when he's swimming, because he's going to be focusing on both keeping himself up and afloat while moving this big huge thing. Even if you're raging.
What if Bjorn helped him?
Well, here's the thing. Bjorn helping him is one thing, but actually,
Also keep in mind that a giant iceberg is going to be very buoyant. So even if there's a lot of weight on it,
yes.
it's going to have a lot of resistance to start pushing through the water. But being so massive with everyone on it, once it gets going, it's going to have a lot of momentum. So it's not going to take much
Not
to
really,
get it.
not when it's trying to fight. You're trying to go against current. So
Well, not
it's
so
you
much against
pushing it,
current as
you're going
perpendicular.
against a current that's trying to push it down the stream.
And also, from my standpoint, the idea of the ice being buoyant on the water, and your comment that you're making now, Kenneth, is the entire reason that this is even remotely possible. Because if this was not on water and was not a solid sheet of ice, there would be no way that Cat could push something that big.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is a possibility. It is something that you can do and make use of. But here's the thing. I would not recommend it be Bjorn in the water with Cad pushing it. The person in the water that should probably push it along with Cad would be Silver. Because both Silver
Yes.
and Cad have high enough constitution scores where being in the water is not going to hurt them as much.
Until we get to a certain point, and then the DC starts getting higher, and we do have to make our rolls.
Yes, exactly.
And we can fail.
You can fail, but if you fail, it doesn't mean you drown. It just means that you take points of exhaustion.
Question. Can I roll a perception to see if there's any trees around us?
Sure.
19.
Um,
Do I see any trees?
Not in the near vicinity, no.
God damn it. So
Snowy-
there's no trees.
There goes the raft.
Snowy
No, I
landscape-
was going to use the trees for oars, and then we can just kind of
Ooh.
coax our way across.
Now, to be
And,
fair,
and then
Wow.
Kadruil enters a rage and like grabs a tree trunk and just starts attacking the water behind us.
you could.
Could I make
theoretically-
It's going to make a lot of splashing and make us cold.
You could.
Could I make a
theoretically-
survival?
Hmm?
I'm sorry, I was cutting you off.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna see, like, following on that idea, since Bjorn knows the area, if he could make a survival check to, if he knows if there are any trees nearby, like just out of sight, that we could travel to easily.
That's not a bad idea. You've been rolling crappy survival anyway. Go ahead.
That's fair.
7.
And it's not getting better either.
It's like, yep, I grew up here. All I know is it's white.
Stayed in town all the time, guys. This tundra is dangerous. I didn't want it.
Okay. So if you want to take this tactic, you can. And I will tell you that anyone who is going to be in the water, your checks to deal with the water while pushing this thing, ignoring pushing this thing, your checks while in the water is going to be pretty basic and relatively low athletic checks to keep yourself moving forward to swim. And then it's going to be athletics checks to see how well you push the raft, the ice.
Why do I see this is going to be like the ending to Titanic?
Now,
Yeah. Oh,
Alright, so I guess we go with the iceberg idea.
I guess.
Iceberg, basically
ahead.
stripping all of our armor off,
Yep.
sticking
Storing
in
it
a bag
away.
flooring. So I'm now at an AC of 13.
alright. And then everybody's climbing on the iceberg except for Silver and Cad.
Yep, and we're just gonna push and hope we don't.
And I mean, hey, if you make the raft exactly how you have it set there, you'll each have your own little spots. Boop, and boop.
Mm-hmm.
I would also recommend...
Well, I mean, I figured we might have to like overlap them a little bit. It just makes sense that way of making the raft, so.
Yeah, I also would wager that just so that you're not yourself getting lost in the current randomly, you do have rope, and you could totally use rope to tie yourself
Hold on.
closer to the raft.
Yeah, probably.
Which also means that you could theoretically pull it instead of push it,
No, that doesn't help.
but that doesn't help.
Because the iceberg is going to weigh much heavier than us. So it's probably better if we try to push it.
Now, Silver, to be effective for you to push it, since you don't have,
Rage or anything.
well, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Since you don't have, the powerful build stuff, the DC for you to affect the iceberg is going to be higher than it is for Cad.
Oh,
But,
right.
but other than that, you're fine.
Or she could be helping me and give me advantage.
Aren't you going to have advantage already because,
He's not going to have
Some
advantage
rage or whatever?
because he's going to be rolling his strength checks while in the water via a disadvantage because he's in the water to push him.
Right, and if he does it like ragingly, it'll just be a straight roll.
Yes. And he can't necessarily rage because, one, Cad's not himself when he rages, and two, he's not
He
taking
can't-
damage.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, so we have an ice raft that we're holding on to with rope.
Yep.
Guess everyone all aboard the ice raft. Okay.
Alright.
So, what are we rolling?
Silver and Cad, make for me 2 athletic checks. The first one is going to be how well you relatively easy at this point because it's how well you're swimming in the water. And then the second is going to be leaning towards how well you're pushing the raft.
Okay, first strength. Or
And then
wait,
just
first
straight-
athletics for
Athletics.
swimming and then strength?
And they're both straight.
Yeah,
Athletics
they're
is
both going to
swimming?
be straight. Hi there, folks. So, yeah. This session did not go exactly as I had planned. So, as the group crosses the river, it was not very fun. I did want to subject my viewership to that particular thing, simply because it was very tedious to the players. So to you viewers who can't see the actual screen, it would be even worse. As such, I took the liberty to skip on through it for the sake of recording, having recorded this post. You'll be happy to know that they crossed the river just fine. A little bit of help from Locke, making use of shatter to create waves, bracing themselves against the rock, and other various such things. But long and short of it, it was a lot of skill checks, and way too many than it should have been. Thanks. Back to the actual show.
Locke is going to go up to the northern side of the raft, which is within like 30 fucking feet of the shore.
Yes?
He's going to take his crossbow, take some of the rope, like whatever leftover rope we have, tie it to the crossbow, go up to Bjorn and hand him the end that's not attached to the bolt, and be like, hold this. And don't drop it. And then I'm going to go back to the northern end of the berg, and I'm just going to shoot the bolt to the shore.
Okay.
So that it'll stick into the ground and we have something to pull.
That's going to be interesting.
Roll an attack.
I'm tired of being on the fucking water. I want
I know
to
you
get a
are.
move on.
Roll an attack roll.
It just
Okay.
depends on whether or not the arrow will actually stick.
23.
Roll damage.
7.
Okay.
Is it sturdy? Is it taut?
Who's holding it? Bjorn?
Mhm.
Bjorn, yeah.
Give it a tug.
Yeah. It seems to be fairly sturdy, at least as best as you can tell. I don't really know if there's
All right.
I don't know if there's a
Play
rule
tug of war
for
with
that.
Mage Hand.
No.
Okay. We can pull this now.
Maybe.
Okay.
So everyone just line up and start, like, conga line heave-hoing this thing.
All right.
Mm.
So I will then say, since most everyone on the boat is safe, and everyone on the boat is going to pull, this is going to help Cad and Silver to not have disadvantage. Everyone make for me this would be a push or a pull. This is athletics. Roll for me athletics.
27.
Athletics.
Not with advantage.
That wasn't advantage. Oh, yeah, it was. But, yeah, 27.
It was
First
the
number.
first roll, so it's fine.
8 from Locke.
Big talk
Bjorn.
there.
Hey, Locke's not strong, and he never claimed to be. He's just trying
I
to
know.
help.
It's just you're sitting there complaining. It's like, this is taking too long, and yet you can't sit there and actually physically help us.
He did actually.
Fight.
I could only do it twice, is the thing.
You've got no more spell slots, huh?
Yeah, I'm out. And
Sure suck or
let-
something jumps us on the other side of the river.
I have Eldritch Blasts. I'll be fine.
Oh, that's true.
I have Eldritch
Okay.
Blasts and Meat Shields. We're good.
Meat
Okay.
shields, okay.
So what I'm going to say, since this boat was sort of listing to the side and the pull is going from the Silver, what was your athletics, 13?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to say, you are now almost at the edge of the thing. If you want to quit pushing, people could easily now climb onto the boat and then jump to the surface or the shore.
Locke's jumping to the surface. He's done.
Roll
Fuck this. He's
athletics
out.
again, sir.
Yeah, I guess climb on top and...
Those of you who are going to climb and then jump, Silver and Cad, you have to roll athletics to climb the top of the iceberg. It's not going to be hard because you have rope, but you need to get athletics before you can get up there.
20.
Yeah,
18.
okay, Locke, roll athletics.
It's a 5-foot jump.
Still, you could faceplant.
Ice is slippery, you know.
Go.
15.
Okay, you're fine. Everybody's over there. Yay.
Yeah. Whoa, we made it.
Locke's gonna turn around and give a big old middle finger to the river.
Speaking of, how many experience points for defeating the river?
That's not how this game works.
But you know what? We forgot to make sure that this was the right river. We need to go back across it to go over the other one.
Shut up! Shut
true.
your whore mouth right now.
We didn't
I did
ask
roll-
the river if this was the right one.
Shut up.
Okay, so you made it across. Congratulations. Now that no one's messing with your boat's going to crash into this rock over here and fall apart.
And it disappears forever. I'd be like,
Okay. Can we just go find this fucking flower so we can go home? I've had about enough of the cold.
it's only been like, oh, I don't know, 30 minutes?
It felt like an hour more than that.
Look, I understand, but you weren't in the fucking river.
Speaking of, Silver Cad, con save.
Oh, I already rolled my con. It's a 17.
18.
Okay, you're fine. Now then.
You two are okay, right? Just making sure.
Fuck you.
Right, I deserve that. Let's go.
Alright, so, back to the Yabon map. All that crazy shenanigans, and you're now over here.
Oh, we're gonna have to cross another river.
Oh god, no, we're looking for a bridge.
Next time.
We're also going to have to cross that river again on the way back.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No. We're gonna look for a fucking bridge.
Just climb up to the mountains and circle around and come down on top of that city and just hire a carriage or something.
I mean, you could do that.
Yeah, we
Takes a
could.
while, but
Alright, so, that whole excursion took way too long out of game, but in game was only like maybe
30 minutes.
30 minutes just to get to the water, and you were actually in the water barely 3 minutes. So, with that in mind, you now are beginning your trek forward. No one has points of exhaustion. Yay.
Hey.
Everybody but
Yay.
Young, anyway. Young still has hers.
It's like, ow, my abs hurt.
That was really cool. It worked.
it makes for a good
Honestly,
scene
we
in a
probably-
movie with like a swelling orchestral score.
Well, if we had someone that could control water, it would have probably been a lot fucking easier, but no, we don't.
So, you have now made it across. You're going to travel for the rest of the day to go at least a little ways in. Are you going to... The question is, how long are you going to travel? Because it's sitting on probably 4-ish in the afternoon, and it's going to be dark soon. But you technically didn't get a full day's travel in this because you started in the afternoon to begin with. So,
Just trek for like a couple hours in the dark and then be fine.
you could
Yeah, I guess.
get to about, we'll say, somewhere around here or so. Make camp. Alright. You make camp. Going
Gonna
to...
have those weird dream things.
No weird dream shenanigans. Although, what's our order for keeping watch?
Silver
Bjorn,
lost.
Bjorn will take first since he's mostly just been chilling on the berg all day.
Second.
Locke will join him for first.
Bjorn and Locke first, Cad Noakes second, and then Silver and Young last.
Sure.
As I'm assuming you're going to do your blanket of fortitude tent thing.
Yep.
As you sort of fluff that out and make your tent, Oak sort of looks around a bit, and did anyone else feel that? Maybe I'm paranoid.
What
You know
is
what?
What's up?
It was like a tremor or something. I don't know.
it?
It was very, very faint.
Oh.
I have no idea.
Roll a perception check.
We don't need tremors. No.
We don't need things
No.
right now.
Silver just like goes into the tent and tries to find like a gallon of hot chocolate. Just like,
that is in there.
yep. Fuck this.
Alright. So, first ones out on watch are going to be, Bjorn and Locke. Perception checks for both of you.
Perception. Uh-oh.
8 from a Bjorn, and a 4 from a Locke.
4.
Okay. Compared to your crazy excursion on the water, things are nice and calm here. As best you guys can tell.
We're dead. We're just dead inside.
So, you guys going to have any conversations? You probably had a lot of your RP conversations off screen on top of the berg.
Yeah, probably.
So, with that in mind, it is going to go to Cad and Oak for your perceptions. For the second watch.
See all.
Holy crap, you rolled higher than me. How dare you?
This was truly a monumentous day.
It is. Read the perception of +6 equals 24, and then perception of +17 equals 23. You rolled an 18 and I rolled a 6, and you were 1 point higher than me. Anyway, so yeah, you guys are out on your watch, and actually, with your perception and being smell, this kind of makes sense. Oak and you both notice that off in the distance, maybe 50 feet out, you're seeing smoke. It's almost like a smoke signal.
To
But
the which side of us?
a little bit to your north.
Okay.
Sort of like that kind of area.
From the foot of the mountain, but not the mountain.
Right. Yes. It is close to the mountains.
But not in the mountain. Okay.
Yes. And then, you hear, both of you, you hear what seems like, I guess the best way to put it would be cries of anguish and pain and fear. But they don't...
Nope.
They don't entirely sound humanoid. The screams are more gravelly.
Mhm.
Oak sort of looks to Cad and is like, you hear that too, right? And see the smoke?
Yeah.
Should we tell the others?
How cold was everyone? How badly do we need to rest?
I mean, no one has points of exhaustion other than Young. But you're wanting but Silver's wanting to get her spell slots that she used a lot of back.
Mm-hmm.
As is
So
is
it's-
Locke, technically.
I don't need a short rest, so I already have my spell slots back, so.
True.
Cad's still waiting to get his spell slots. So it's gravelly voices, you said about 50 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
That's awfully close.
It is.
Can we make out what kind of language or what kind of sound other than gravel?
Roll nature. Sure. I'll say, actually, I think Oak probably has a higher nature than you. What's your nature bonus?
total.
Oh, well. Okay. 23. So... Didn't... Okay. That reminds me of the screams that Bjorn heard. Me and Bjorn heard last time. I think he called those Yetis.
Hmm.
I don't know this area enough to know whether or not there might be like some sort of Yeti village up here somewhere. But maybe?
Do you think they're going to bother us?
Sounds to me like cries of pain, so they're dealing with something else. I don't know what it would be, but they're dealing with something else. I just don't know if that something else is going to come after us because we're so close. Maybe I could... Well, no, she's the one with the exhaustion.
What if we only woke up Locke? Maybe he could try to awaken mine, and would something like that possibly work?
I think he would have to know what he's targeting, or who he's targeting. He'd have to be able to see them. Maybe he could sneak up close and find out if he wanted to, but he's also usually terrified of everything. But he's our best rogue if we don't get Yang. And Yang's with the exhaustion, so...
I was thinking we let those that really require the rest sleep, but Locke should probably be able to wake up and help with something and not hate us in the morning.
Yeah. I guess this is...
Nah, Locke-chan, nah, wake up.
Oak sort of chuckles and is like, I guess this is a boy's day out if we do something. Let's go wake up Locke. And they will go inside and they will wake up Locke, which wouldn't be hard.
What's going on?
Actually, Bjorn will... Cad will wake up Locke, and Oak is going to go wake up Bjorn.
What is it?
Okay, so we saw smoke and heard, like, gravelly screams and yelling. It sounded like Yetis. Bjorn, do you know if there's, like, a Yeti village up here somewhere? Bjorn can roll history. He's been doing so well so far.
Statistically, I have to roll well at some point.
At some point, just doesn't have to be tonight.
Nope.
You're right. It doesn't have to be.
Statistically, a king that has had 7 daughters will eventually have a son, right?
Exactly.
No.
Theory.
Not if he dies first.
So, yeah. 8, you have no idea. You do know that Yetis are generally in the areas, and you had heard stories of them perhaps making tribes and villages near the mountains, but you aren't entirely sure.
Well, I'll share as much with everyone.
Okay, so... Well, then what are we doing about it? I mean, are they screaming at us or at something else, or what?
They're screaming as if they're in pain. And, I mean, something may be attacking them or something. It's hard to get fire that's substantial enough to cause that much smoke in a place like this.
Smoke, too. Oh, well, that's unpleasant.
Maybe they're getting their ass... Let me think. Does Bjorn know if the Yetis have any natural enemies that they deal with up here?
Nature.
Yeah. Come on.
Statistically speaking.
Son of a bitch. The worst part is I don't even have, like, physical dice that I can switch out for others. Like, it's just... I'm stuck with this system.
I mean, you could turn on the 3D dice.
Hey, just reload the room.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that because
Or just spam up the d20 dice over and over again.
Also, if you turn on 3D dice, it'll make your dice roll slower, and then you'll randomly see it's like 17, 16, 23.
Yep. So I'll be able to fail, but slower.
You'll be able to fail, and you'll be able to see the route you took to get there.
No. You'll fail with style.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, Bjorn might not be able to immediately know what the hell's going on, but he knows that the whole thing, as has been described to him, does sound deeply concerning, so I advise we either investigate or we move further away.
I could check it out. I have a spell that'll make me invisible for a while, so I could go and investigate under that.
Risky to go alone.
Well, yes, but I'm also like the second sneakiest person in the group, if not the sneakiest. No offense to Young.
She's asleep. She can't take offense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, I kind of feel bad because sometimes I feel like I'm stealing all of her thunder whenever I start doing sneaky shit.
She has her moments. We just don't see them very much.
Which is true.
They always happen when we're not here to see it, is the thing, but...
Yeah, so do they really happen?
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Yes. Yes, it does.
We don't even know how well she did in her dream that was Bjorn's, apparently. Nor do we know how well Silver did when she was apparently in her body. So, anyway. Point being...
Oh, that's right.
You need to perhaps investigate, and with your invisibility spell, you're the most likely candidate to get out there and see if something is attacking them, and you stealth well. I don't think they're going to notice you, and if whatever's attacking them is not drawn to you, you should be fine. I don't know what it would be, but
all right. Okay, I can get a look.
Yeah, you can take a look.
Close enough to at least see what's going on and then report back. Okay. Wish me luck then. And I'm going to go ahead and expend a spell slot and make myself invisible, and then I'm going to start sneaking towards the site.
How long does invisibility last?
Concentration up to 1 hour, yes. And if I wanted to, I could actually get more people invisible with it because it automatically casts at 5th level. Because, you know...
You need to hold on to each other.
I don't think that's how that works. I mean,
No,
we'd have to be holding
so
on
you
to each
don't
other.
get lost from each other and you actually know it's like, oh, hey, it's time to go back.
Well, Locke's going alone because he's like the quietest of the boys. So yeah,
Right.
I assume I get advantage on my stealth roll because of that.
You do indeed. Go ahead and roll stealth with advantage.
20, not natural.
Nice. You stealth your way, and as you get closer, you hear the same sort of the gravelly screams of these creatures, and you get close enough, and you realize, actually, roll perception. It is dark. You have dark vision, but it is dark.
That's a 5.
5. Okay, so you sort of see in the distance as you're getting closer, you see a rather... It's not a really big or robust village. It's kind of like a tribal town. It looks very much like a sort of Native American style tribal town. The buildings are rather large, but mostly made of cloth, and some of them now appear to be on fire, and that is what's making the smoke. You see shadowy shapes moving along and running and yelling, which you assume that those are probably Yetis because a lot of those are big. Some of those are not, but most of them are big. And that's about as best as you can sort of discern. You can't, with a perception of 5, you can't really tell what is attacking them and what is causing the fire, but it's a reasonable leap in logic that whatever is attacking them probably is causing the fire. You just can't see it.
Right, I'm gonna slink closer until I can.
Okay. I'll keep your stealth check, but you're trying to be more active in what you're looking at, so I will give you investigation, which I think is higher for you.
I'm pretty sure I have a higher investigation.
Plus one.
Actually, it's exactly the same.
Okay, well, perception or investigation, either one.
Let's try investigation. I've already perceived that something's afoot. 20, not natural. Nice.
Wow. Okay. So, since this was investigation, as you are sort of making your way closer, you just barely dodge as you're sort of sneaking forward. That there is it's almost like a fault line or like an earthquake line. There is a burrowing sort of crack in the ground that has sort of weaved its way into the village itself. And you see tracks and running around, and the snow's partially melted in a lot of areas. So with that investigation of 20 and what you are seeing, you can discern that something has apparently came out of the ground and attacked the village.
What type of somethings? Can I see the smaller non-Yeti figures at all this close?
This close, yes. You can see the smaller creatures are still Yetis. They're just younger. And you, coming up with your investigation of 20 and moving closer, you find a Yeti that is unconscious and on the ground. It appears that this Yeti has been, freezer burn.
Just hit with a lot of cold really fast.
Like heat and cold. Like the I guess it wouldn't be freezer burn, it would just be burnt. It's just that everything around it is mostly cold. So yeah, it's just burnt. There is an unconscious Yeti that appears to have very large burn marks across his torso, and he is completely out cold and unconscious. Well, I guess hot, but out and unconscious.
Does he look like he'll survive without medical treatment?
You can roll medicine to get a more discernible idea of his...
5.
Best as you can tell, probably not.
Well, I don't exactly have the resources to help with that anyway, and even if I did, I don't presently have the inclination to do so. So I'm instead just going to try and figure out what the hell is actually attacking. That's what I came out here to find out, so I'm just keeping my eyes out for whatever the aggressive party here is.
Okay. Are you going to go further into town, or are you just going to sort of stay back and just wait? How are you going to go about trying to...
I'm going to try and... I don't want to move too far into town to see what's going on. I'm going to try and stick to the outskirts and edges if I can. I'm going to see if I can pinpoint where the screams are loudest, where the movement is, and move generally in that direction without getting too close.
Okay.
Keep myself toward the outer edge of town from whatever noise I move towards.
Alrighty. Roll for me a stealth again, because you're sort of moving in a more discernible sort of direction.
16.
Okay. So you sort of stealthing your way more into town, sort of looking and seeing if you can find out what's going on. Roll perception to see if you can sort of grasp where the screams are loudest. 3.
3. It was almost a natural 20 with that 3D dice.
So, yeah, it's the sounds are sort of mingled, and it's sort of it's hard for you to sort of discern a good direction. But you rolled a 3. I'm going to give you something with that, because this is going to be obvious because you're closer into town.
That's a sound.
It's like a...
That, but with more phlegm.
No, that with more, I guess, rattling. It's like something between that sort of a growl and like the you know how when people do like close-ups and things of bugs, you get like the buzzing and a sort of mandible sound. It's that plus a mandible sound that I can't do.
Huh.
Mhm.
And it is based on your 3. You hear that, and that's what sort of spooks you. It's like a jump scare, and you're sort of not able to discern precisely where it is. You just heard that.
Huh. Okay. Huh.
But you don't want that.
Are there any Yetis alive and awake near me?
No.
Hmm.
There are more that are unconscious, but not awake or alive. Well, actually. Sure, I'll give it to you. There's one that's unconscious and sort of looks to be moving to try to crawl away and out of the village to... Actually, no. He's crawling and he's in no direction in particular. Just away.
Okay, I'm going to get within 30 feet and attempt to establish a link via Awakened Mind to communicate.
Okay.
And I will ask, what has happened? What's attacking you? Don't worry, I'm not a threat.
Who dis? Where are you?
I'm a disembodied spirit. A being with no form.
Roll deception. I'll give you advantage because it's a very specific way that you're doing this, and it's not necessarily going to be hard. But roll deception with advantage. What?
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
Plus 7,
Okay.
27.
Jeez.
Deception is one of my good skills.
Yes.
It's a shame I use it so wearily and frequently.
Firebug beast.
Huh.
We hunt for their young because tasty. Mother not happy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
Can you help?
And I am going to go back to the tent.
You just leave?
I'm going. I don't want to be near that anymore, not without backup. I figured out what I came to figure out.
Sort of.
I mean, I know what's attacking the village now. It's a big firebug that they'd like to hunt the young of because it tastes good.
Yep.
Bjorn's the local expert. He can tell us what it actually is and whether or not it's safe to intervene or not.
That is debatable at this point.
well, in lore, that's Locke's reasoning. Statistically and like at the table, I know that I'm not going to get fucking anything, but Locke doesn't know the dice. We do.
You're
All
just
right.
gonna get Bjorn giving you an empty stare.
Alright, so you make your way
It's like
back.
my brain hasn't led me.
You make your way back.
Yep, I'm gonna make my way back. Yep, I make
Um,
my way back, and I assume that the boys are still waiting for me outside.
You choose to sever mind links, right?
Yeah, I just dropped the communication.
That's just something. Okay.
Good, you didn't hear the horrible screams of it dying.
When you sort of, as you're making away, there is this sort of I guess the best word would be a mournful cry. But yeah, you're making your way back to
feel
the-
bad. There's nothing I can really do to help it.
I mean, really, there's not. But you did something. You did something to help it. Actually, kind of.
I let it talk to someone for a second.
Well, just to be equally dark and that bad evil bastard DM, you gave him hope for like half a second.
I mean, I straight up told him I was a disembodied voice with no form.
Which to him means that you're some sort of god that can just smite and kill it.
Right. Well, at any rate, yeah, I'm heading back to the others before you make me feel even more like a cunt.
Anyway, back to the tent then.
Yep.
All right, you make your way back to the tent.
I drop invisibility once I'm, within like 30 feet. Okay, so they're getting fucked up over there. It is a town of Yetis. and they're being attacked apparently by some sort of firebug creature that can burrow beneath the earth. They like to hunt the things young because they taste good, apparently. That's what one of them told me via mind link. And Mom's not happy about that, and it's big enough to create a big hole in the earth and wreck the entire town, it seems. So I didn't stick around long enough to get a good look at the creature. I didn't think it was necessary when I heard the description. Bjorn, any ideas?
Let's find out.
A 1, a 2, a 3.
If you want to roll nature to see if you have any idea what sort of creature this is, I will give you advantage because Locke did give you a description.
7.
Oh, good. So I can fail twice as hard.
13.
Yeah, there we go.
So, you know of Yetis a little bit with a 13. You sort of know that Yetis tend to hunt large prey because they are themselves large creatures. So, the idea that there's this creature that's huge enough to constitute their young being large to these large Yetis means that, yeah, it's probably something very, very big. And you do remember hearing stories of a burrowing creature that was typical to the Arctic and colder climates of Iban. And even though it was, living in the Arctic all the time, it was a rather very, very fire-oriented creature. So, as best as you can guess, it's probably that. As far as what it is, you know that the name of the creature started with an R.
R.
Yep.
It's a pirate.
That starts with a P.
Jack Sparrow.
I'll give you that it's a very, very large something, and the name of it started with an R, with a 13.
Yeah, it doesn't come immediately to mind. Well, I'll tell Locke. Well, I've heard stories of a creature like that, but as to what it is exactly, I'm not sure. I've never seen it myself, and neither have any of the people I've talked to about it. I'd advise moving a bit further away, though.
All right. Just leave him to it.
I mean,
if we keep our distance, I would assume that if it's because Mom was mad at them for hunting baby, if we keep our distance, then Mother shouldn't attack us. She should just go back to wherever her lair happens to be.
in theory, yes, and stuff like this just kind of happens around here sometimes.
The harsh place of Iban, right?
Yep. Just the way of it.
Although I will say that if that's the case, then whatever this creature is, if it burrows underground, I was probably feeling that tremor whenever we went to bed earlier.
That is a very reasonable conclusion to reach.
So, I don't know if that means that its own lair is somewhere underground near us, or what. But
Probably.
It depends if there's a dedicated map for it.
also, wait, didn't we at one point hear Yetis and it was as if they were attacking something, like a couple nights ago? I wonder if that's
Now that you mention it, I do recall that.
that might have been related somehow.
Probably is related.
But regardless, I don't think we should mess with that. We should just sort of back off and keep away.
Yeah, this isn't our fight.
And if it comes calling to us because we happen to be close and in the wrong place at the wrong time, then that's that. But
Only so much we can do at that point, but yeah.
Yeah.
But for now, yes. Let's move camp a bit further away. and hope that the carnage is done once it's time for us to get moving in the morning.
All right.
Now my question, says Oak, again, should we tell the girls, or just, not say anything? They're still asleep, so.
Way I see it, if they
Sure,
ask if
sure.
anything happened, the way I see it, if they ask if anything happened, we tell. If not, what's the point?
Fair. Alright. So, next watch was me and you. Well, next watch was the girls after
Yep.
me and Cad. So, you guys go back to sleep. We'll wake the girls up. And
If that's the case, it might actually be wiser to let them know just so they're aware of the situation and know what to look out for in case the thing comes calling.
Alright. So, we'll get back to sleep. Can't really move the tent, not with the girls awake, or not with the girls asleep, unless we want to wake them up, tell them what's going on, move the tent, and then we go to sleep. Actually, that's not a bad idea. So.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Let's do that.
By the way, y'all need to move camp. If you need me, I'll be inside sleeping.
Does not work like that.
Alright, so, Oak will go and wake up Yong and Silver, and you two wake up and you see that everyone else is awake right now. So, yeah, there's a Yeti village nearby, and it's currently being attacked by a big, crazy fire bug, apparently. We want to kind of keep away from that, but we just wanted to let you know just in case you heard something or seen something while out there. And also, we're going to all leave the tent so we can move the tent a little bit. That way, we're not as close. Sound good?
Wait, is it? It's not our watch yet, right?
It will be, yeah.
Fine.
Yong's like, okay, so we're moving the tent, I guess?
Yep, just moving
Yeah.
it I'd say maybe I don't know, like 500 feet away and call it good.
Alright, sure. You guys,
I won't be getting any sleep after that. Okay.
Maybe more like 100 feet. I don't know.
you pack up the tent, you move it up a little bit, move it over, and set it back up so that you can go back and get some rest. The boys can go back and get some rest. And as the boys sort of go into the tent and lay down, Yong's like, what in the heck was that all about? Any idea?
No.
I mean, Oak said something, but I was only like half awake, so.
Something about bugs and yetis.
Bugs and Yetis.
Yep.
Bugs. What would Yetis care about bugs? They're tiny.
I don't know.
Whatever. Anyway, perception check.
I don't know. It's just like. Wait, if we take hot chocolate out of the tent, would it still exist?
What was the question?
That sounds like a ruling for the DM to make.
We could set up a hot chocolate stand that way.
Oh, Lord, we can make money.
But
What was
only
the
if the
question?
DM allows for the hot cocoa to leave the tent.
Can we stay for like another month and just sell hot chocolate?
You can,
We really shouldn't.
Okay, if you want to take hot chocolate out of the tent, you totally can.
Just. Okay.
But
But
as
then
soon
it
as-
becomes cold chocolate.
But as soon as it
No.
leaves your hand, it disappears.
Oh.
Okay.
Like if you set it down on the ground beside you because you're tired of holding this really hot chocolate in your hand, it's gone.
So only the person who takes it out can hold it. So we cannot. Well, actually, we could still sell it. Just
Yeah,
just
be like,
invite
just
people
crawl
into
up.
the tent. Just invite people into the. Just invite people into our creepy magic tent. Take a cup of hot cocoa. Give us some copper and go.
Pull up a
Take it.
comfy book. Have a seat.
Anyway, perception.
Yeah, this is what we're gonna start to do once we read something and just like everyone agrees. Nope, we're not doing that. We're done.
So
That
let's all
is our
agree to do a
downtime
time skip
money-making
3.5
scheme.
months. How much money? We have?
15 from Young.
3. So it's just like it's cold. I wanna sleep. I still want to sleep. Just slowly sipping her hot chocolate, just like, and it's cold again. God, fuck.
Just really grumpy.
Very grumpy.
Okay, so I don't really feel like I should point this out. It might have something to do with what the boys mentioned. There's smoke over there. I don't think we need to mess with it, do you?
There's smoke over there because they said there was a Yeti village over there. Would Yetis have fires? Like little bonfires?
That caused that
Do
big,
they get cold?
that would cause that big of a plume of smoke? I don't think so.
I know it's not just a whole. Well, it could be just
Well,
like one
maybe.
giant bonfire.
Maybe. I don't know.
No, it's just bugs.
Okay. Well, whatever. I'm not worried about it if you're not. As long as it doesn't come over here or whatever it is. I mean, if it's a bug, I can just swat it out of the sky. Even I could hit a bug. Mostly.
I mean,
Oh my
could you
God.
reach it?
Hey.
Sorry, had to.
I'm not that short.
Oh my
I'm actually,
God.
I'm actually kind of tall for a dwarf, thank you.
Get into the casual racism here.
Anyway,
Tall for a dwarf.
I need. I'm like you. I wish I could have slept more, but whatever. She is tall for a dwarf, just so you know.
It's all gone horribly, horribly wrong.
All right,
We're loopy from the rap.
we are. All right, so
Okay.
from there,
Oh God, tears. Fuck.
15 from Yon. She doesn't see or hear anything other than smoke.
So 3. Just
You
nope,
rolled a
nothing.
3. So you don't see
What was
anything.
that?
You're too grumpy to care. Sun comes up. Everybody's got their rest. For what it's worth, your 8 hours of rest would have been done at the point in which you guys were woken up. So you two do not have... That's why I could roll perception with her normally, because her exhaustion's gone. And your spell slots are back. And now you are...
Hey.
And now as the sun comes up, you're ready to pray and get all your spells and things and whatever. And we can continue trekking our way north.
To the north.
Alright.
Quickly. We must go faster. I'm done with this place.
So you travel north, and you make your way to the mountainside. You have made it to the mountains. You see the mountains.
Now we gotta look for a flower.
Now you gotta look for a flower. Who's going
We
to
know what the
choose?
flower looks like.
Someone has a book.
Who has the book?
Ooh, I have books.
You have a book, but is it the right book?
Probably not. But mine has hymns and mantras.
I'm going to pull out the book on Ibon flowers we have, because I have a book of that in my inventory.
It's in deep speech
okay.
when you pick it up. When you were reading it, it was in Elvish.
Yeah, that's fine. I can still read deep speech. I'm going to read it and look for any clues on the flower we're looking for. What's it called again?
Lunar Heart Flower. Do you probably
I
you might
thought it was
find it a
Lunar
little
Heart,
odd that the
but alright.
book that was in Elvish was in deep speech now, but
Well, I'll look for any information on the lunar heart.
alrighty. So
Oh yeah, and the book that I had sat there and rolled in on Celestial,
mm-hmm.
and it stayed there.
So it is currently at probably later in the evening, like maybe 5 or 6 of a day or two away from you guys traveling forward. And you guys, you sort of find it in the book. It's got a pretty picture. I don't have a picture for it. It would technically be like a blue and purpley flower with a very long stem and thing. It's basically a very petal. The petals are very large and angular angular. Very pretty. Sort of goes from blue to purple to yellow in the middle. And the information that you see is the lunar flower appears to be just a simple bulb, an empty, or not empty. It seems to be a simple bulb during the day, and during it will only bloom at night in the moonlight.
You said it's what color?
It is purple and blue, and yellow in the middle. It only blooms in the moonlight, and sunlight, once it hits high noon, with the information you have, Locke, once it hits high noon, sunlight will just destroy it.
The heck?
It is very sensitive to temperature, being from the Arctic, basically, and if exposed to direct sunlight, which it often is, it will just wilt and die to reform again the next night, as long as the moon is still mostly full. Be glad that it didn't take you 5 or 6 extra days to get up here.
Oh.
So...
Huh. Interesting. So our best bet for finding it then would be to wait until it's dark out. Am I getting that right?
Yep.
Huh. All right.
It's also...
So I guess while we wait...
It's actually a fairly rare flower as well. And it has to be stored and kept away from where it would be exposed to sunlight for the magic that is infused within to stick with it. So if you just sort of pick the flower, you're not necessarily going to keep its magic. It has to be basically like like Yasha does, where she hard presses it into a book. Kind of have to do that to sort of store it away from sunlight.
Or put it in the bag of colding.
Yeah.
That would work too.
It's just when we take it out, once we get back, the moment it comes back out.
Yep. Got to make sure it's not in moonlight. Which, if you're inside a building, you're not going to be in direct sunlight unless you're like in front of a window.
Good point. Okay.
So, stored in a bag of colding would be a good way to keep it, assuming you can find it.
Yeah. So, is it all agreed that we're going to sit there and go around the river and go to the big city there and get a cart back to Mark or whatever?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
we don't necessarily
fuck
need
the
a
fucking
cart,
river.
but I mean, we could go around the mountain river and try to find a guide. We found a guide to get us to Mark to begin with. We could see if we could find the same thing in.
We
Morquito.
found a guide. Gestures to the other paladin.
Well, no, I meant the 2 gnomes that led you to Mork to begin with.
Those guys were just the snow patrol. They just kept the roads cleared.
It's true.
They weren't really guides, but still.
I mean, there's various different means of, yes. Basically, if you go around the mountain, you can make your way to Morquita and be able to find some sort of cart or something to get you to go forward and not have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
so let's get a cart and so on. Just looks like it's just like, a lot easier on us and we can actually freaking relax.
If you want to really relax, it would be get somebody like the Snow Patrol so that they have a weather stone to keep the blizzard away.
That too. Which, how we got up here amongst all of that is amazing.
It conveniently didn't cause a blizzard on your way up here.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't just a nice DM. I rolled for that. You guys got hella lucky.
So, anyways, yeah, let's, I guess, wait until dark, have conversations, and go rare flower hunting at night.
So Bjorn, was your book still with the right language? You got a book too. I don't remember what kind of book you got.
My book was on the fauna of the Feywild,
Yes.
and I want to say it ended up in Giant.
Okay. So you could still read yours. It was only Yong and Oak, I think.
Mine turned into something different, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yours did. Young, Oak, and Cad. Young's ended up in Abyssal. Cad's ended up in Dwarvish. And then Young's was, I believe... I'll have to look it up, but it wasn't something she could read. It was
And
Draconic.
that begs an interesting question. Why would dwarves be keeping up with Loxodon hymns and mantras?
Because the book was not written in Dwarvish initially. The book was written in
It was
Loxodon.
just shuffling.
It was just in random shuffle mode and ended up on Dwarvish.
Oh, right. That's right. Okay.
Yep. So, if people sort of break out their books to try to give them something to do to pass the time till it's dark, this is when everybody in the party will realize that their books are different languages than what they were to start with. Locke, says Young.
Yeah? What is it?
That library was screwy. I can't read this anymore. Here, she literally tosses the book to you.
Careful with the tomes.
Roll dexterity, see if you catch it.
Fuck me. Luckily I have good dexterity. It's my second best stat. 18.
Okay, yeah, you catch it. It sort of fumbles out of your hands briefly, but then you're fine.
Careful. Yeesh.
Yeah, she tosses you over.
What was the book on again?
It was never actually mentioned the kind of books that Young picked up. She sort of rolled a rogue thing to sort of sneak a book out. With your what is it? Eyes of the Runekeeper. With your Eyes of the Runekeeper, you see that her book was actually on like the various different artifacts and things that can be found in and around Aban.
Huh.
It lists a bunch
What are
of
you
different,
doing with this?
like it lists a bunch of legendary-ish or rare artifacts that can be found and magical items. She basically gives you a magic item book.
Huh, interesting. What were you going to do with this?
I don't know. I was just curious. Maybe if I read it a little bit, then we saw something cool, and I would actually be, useful and know what it was. I don't know. But now I can't read it. So, there you go.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. Alright?
Right. Okay.
You're great in a fight. Don't beat yourself up about things, alright?
Yeah. Actually, I recently, sort of formulated in my head that it might be, better ways to punch and hit. I feel like I can be a little bit more useful in a fight if I get lucky enough, which we know what my luck looks like, but,
We as a group just kind of have what I could best describe as adventurer's luck. Meaning nothing goes our way until it does.
Except for Cad. Have you realized how lucky that elephant is sometimes?
Oh, he's just awesome.
Sometimes I feel like
luck's got nothing to do with it. That guy's just good at what he does.
Sometimes it's almost like I can cheat up to 3 times a day. Wait, no.
Exactly, yeah.
Whatever the hell that means.
So,
That was obviously not a joke.
So yeah, I don't know. You can do something with that if you want. Maybe give it to your dad. He likes stuff like that, doesn't he?
My mom, I can't really speak for my dad as I barely know the man. Still trying to fix that.
Well, she sort of smiles and she's like, Locke, I don't know how you particularly feel about this, but I feel like your dad might be the type that would actually enjoy that book, even though I know him less than you do. I guess we more treasure hunter types sort of know the look.
Well, we'll see, I suppose. Still, we gotta get back to Gradiriel first.
Right, yeah,
And even then, we have more important shit to worry about than whether or not my dad likes a book.
True.
I mean, look at your mom.
I don't know if that...
Isn't she queen of books?
She has lots of books.
Yes, she runs a library. So, obviously, he likes books.
I'm not sure that's how that works.
They need to have some interests in common.
True.
So, why can't it be books?
Maybe.
Eh.
Maybe he found her because she had books like that.
Who knows?
Anyway, point being, yeah, that's some idle conversation between those characters. After a bit, Oak will sort of pull Silver aside and, like, so, was one of the people that, if you don't want to talk about it and bring it up, that's fine, but I saw, like, the fire genocide, fire people in the dream thing. Do you know anything about her at all? Other than, like, she was your, like, torturer, I guess?
Torturer.
Never mind. It's just, what little bit I saw of her magic in that dream was very weird. I didn't know if you knew anything else about it.
Yeah. I don't know her name. And I haven't met her really before.
Right. It's like they were using your blood for something. I don't know.
I don't know, but kept me alive for days. I don't know how long.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt that.
No rest, nothing.
Anyway.
But yeah, I don't really know much about her except for her magic is weird.
Right. Okay. I sorry, I didn't mean to bring things up if that was a bad idea, but
It's fine.
okay. So that conversation's done. I don't know if anyone else wants to have a conversation, but now whoever has the highest investigation is probably going to be assisted. Or we can all roll investigation to look for a plant.
I say we all just roll it and see who wins.
Yeah, sure, make it a contest. Why not?
Yeah, who can find the most?
Investigation.
That's a 20 from Locke. Not 20. Not 20.
That is a 14. No, this is supposed to be your land.
Apparently, it does not get on with me.
Ah!
Oh no.
Was that an oak?
The first one was, the first one that I rolled that was a 5 was Yong, and then that one was an oak.
Oh no, poor oak.
So, for those who haven't seen it, 5 from Yong, 20 from Locke, Silver gets a 14, Bjorn rolled a natural 1 for a 2, Oak rolled a natural 1 for a 10, and then Cat rolled a 10. So, yeah, you have the book, Locke. You rolled a 20. It sort of makes sense. You find some.
Hey, guys, over here. I think I found it.
You see that there are quite a few in that little cluster of plants around them. They're just wilted in a way. It's almost got this, like, phoenix rising from the ashes thing going on, where the plant's growing out of the, like, wilts of the others around it.
Huh. It's a pretty thing, I'll give it that.
Interesting. Well, I guess we just harvest it into the bag and called it.
Yeah, it's the best means of keeping it as we need it that we have, so might as well, yeah.
Where? Snowflower.
So, Cad, I want you to do me a favor. High or low?
Uh-oh.
Well, Kadruil's definitely not high at the moment, so low.
Okay.
Fuck you, man.
Oh, jeez.
All right. So, you guys then will make your way back down. Start sort of heading, or no, wait, you're not going back down. You're going around. You're going to go, like, up into the mountains and around. That's right.
Yeah, because we're going to go to the nearest town and then hitch a ride back.
Okay.
Because we're not doing that with the river again. That was, no.
So, you guys find the flower. Silver, Luck has it silver sticks in the bag of holding. Yes, was that it?
Yep, that was the plan.
How many are we picking?
How many did we find?
You found a
there
small
was a
cluster
cluster.
of, like, because they're
Small
rare.
cluster.
A small cluster of like 3. Just,
Then 3.
mhm.
Small cluster 3 rare flower.
3 lunar hearts. Hearts, whatever.
So, you two are near the mountains because you're collecting the flower. So, Oak and Yang, 1, 2, 3 for Cad, 4 for Bjorn. Cad, make me a dexterity save. You get advantage.
Woo. 13?
Okay. So,
Oh no.
this kind of makes sense because you're the one that rolled it and made it come up here. I will adjust this map later.
Rolled it to make it come up here?
I will adjust this map later. Making a map thing.
Why?
Because
We're all gonna die. Why else?
I'm going to end it on a cliffhanger because it's funner this way.
Oh, I get it, because we're at the edge of the cliffs.
Well,
No.
edge of the mountainside that is the cliff. So, first,
Who rolled to bring it up here? What?
I asked Cad high or low. I rolled high. He said low.
I thought it was a high for like how much we found.
No, that didn't have anything to do with
Oh no.
that.
And
So,
that 1d4? Oh dear lord.
the 1d4 was to choose who it hit that wasn't near the mountain, which was Cad.
Who it hit? Oh no.
Okay.
So, you guys are now on the map, yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a map we've been on previously, because I have a squiggle I control.
Yes, you do. There's a monster there, by the way.
Why am I riding on its back? This is epic.
No, you're not.
Oh no.
No, you're not riding on his back. It's grabbing you is what it's doing, or it's trying to.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, it's gonna swallow you.
Um,
It was nice knowing you, Cat.
Oh, you.
Go on without me, friends.
does 22
I
hit
used
you?
the hat one last time as a bonus action to look more delicious.
Does the 22 hit you, or you want to roll luck to give it another roll?
Yes. So I roll it, or they roll it again?
So you roll it.
D20 plus 11.
D20 plus 11.
Doesn't matter. 19, I guess.
Yeah. So it does hit you. So you are going to do. You are not raging, so this is not halved. Kaboom!
Okay.
Yep. It was nice knowing you.
I'm guessing that was an attempted devour thing.
It was a bite, and grapple thing. Roll for me athletics.
14.
Okay, no. So you now will take 8 more in fire damage, and you are swallowed. We will roll initiative and end it.
Hey,
We are
would
all
Feral
screaming.
Instinct... This would have counted like a surprise round, right?
Yes.
So... If I'm surprised at the beginning of combat and I'm not incapacitated, I can act normally on my first turn. But only if I enter a rage before I do anything else. So would I not be able to have a surprise round with it?
Well,
Sure.
you're swallowed.
You're swallowed, but it would still get its turn before you, but you would get your turn as well, basically. And then I will roll the initiative. You can roll your initiative. Let's see. That's So
Put
the
a turn
idea-
order thingy up so it matters.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
There's finally a good roll.
You're saving it up for one that mattered. No
Right.
one pays attention in history class anyway.
It's true. It's true.
And not unless you have a damn good teacher like I did.
So does my surprise round swings happen this time or before my first turn next time?
You can, since it is, since that was read as, additionally, if you are surprised at the beginning of combat and aren't capacitated, a surprise round's turn order is rolled, and actually, you guys have other means to not be surprised, so I'm going to give you your rage.
Oh, sort of warning.
So basically what happened here for this initiative thing is you guys go and pick the flower, there's a tremor in the ground, and Bjorn's sword flashes blue, and Bjorn's like, up, heads up, and then Cat's head goes way up. Yoof.
So, if I'm top of the turn order, but I also got a surprise round, does that mean I do like a double turn?
You would get your turn. You would get your turn now. And then let me. Young is a 7. I need to get.
It's a cool flower.
Oak's got first turn, but Oak is surprised. You can. Well, he gave you a heads up, so yeah. What was your dexterity roll?
Me?
Your dexterity roll previously was a 13. I will skip Oak's turn because that makes that easy. Because it is still technically a surprise round.
I'm wondering if the monster would swing and I would counter swing, and then everyone would be out of the surprise round, or everyone else gets a surprise round alert as well. How does that work?
I will say you get a swing and he gets a swing, and then we'll go normal turn order. That's how I'll do that.
So you want me to do my one swing now, and then next time we resume with normal turn order?
Yeah.
So yeah, I am raging and double
And since
reckless
you- and since
strike
you
at
got-
thingy.
And since you got just before his initiative order, I will give you your rage on that initial 46 damage.
Okay. So
27 will definitely hit it.
let's see. You said it was 46 damage.
Yeah, it'd be reduced to 23.
Plus 23. All right. You said 27 hits. And second reckless. 20.
20 will hit.
Boop. Okay.
Okay, so that is a total of 12, 14, so 26.
Yep.
Okay, so you are currently now inside of it, and
Yep.
Oak is going to get his turn next, and that's where we're going to begin.
Sounds good to me.
That's going to be what we come back to. Hooray! But Brian can do the This Has Been Shadowed, and Sam does the next time.
All right.
Yep.
This has been Shadows of Gradiriel.
We're gonna die to a worm. We thought we were gonna die to a river.
I mean,
No,
hey,
we're gonna die to a worm.
we fought a giant demon fish before, so
Good point.
have some faith in our abilities.
Well, our barbarian just got swallowed, so
He can get out.
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
Join us next time for Indigestion.